Hi, welcome back to Kitsu. I'm Kitsu. Today, we are diving back into the world of Toilet-Bound Hanako-kun. And it's the final episode of season 1. And trust me, you're going to want to stick around until the very end because I've got an extra creepy little scene straight from the manga that didn't make into the anime. But first, let me give you a quick recap of where we left off. Last time, Nene-chan got kidnapped by Natsuhiko and Tsukasa, and she found herself stuck in this weird place with a bunch of random doors everywhere. Hanako, being the helpful ghost he is, uses a radio to tell her she needs to find a door that looks familiar so he can track her down using their special connection, and the Hakucho die. Finally, Nene-chan spots a door she recognizes, and when she opens it, it's a classroom. And guess who she finds there? It's Hanako! But he's looking all beaten up from when he was alive. Nene-chan rushes toward him, but just as she does, he bolts out of the classroom, leaving behind the key with this rocket-shaped keychain. She picks up the key, but before she can reach him, Hakujo-dai shows up, and we hear Hanako says, "Found you." And then there's a calendar on the floor that shows it's Friday, July 18th, 1969. Then we switch scenes to Tsukasa, who's just doing his usual creepy thing, doodling on the wall and talking to someone. He turns around and looks like he's starting at a bloody hand drawing on the mirror. Yikes. So, just like any other day after class, Nene-chan found herself in the girls' bathroom, chatting with Hanako and Ko. They were talking about some weird hands that had been popping up in her notebook that is a gardening club activity log, which had loads of photos featuring the gardening club. Those hands only seemed to show up in the pictures where Nene-chan was present. She tried to make light of it, saying that the images were more funny than creepy, but ever since she noticed those hands, she started seeing that everywhere. Just as she said that, hands started to appear right behind Ko and Hanako. Ko, trying to be all brave and heroic, he reassured Nene-chan that he would take care of it with an exorcism. He confidently marched up to one of the hands and challenged it to an arm wrestling match, all puffed up with determination, but ended up losing miserably. While everyone was celebrating the victory, they noticed that the hand had vanished. Nene-chan checked her photos and realized one of them showed the hand had disappeared from the picture too. Hanako says that maybe those hands just wanted some attention. He adds, most lesser spirits are satisfied and disappear once you acknowledge them. So they decide to play with all the hands in hopes of getting rid of them for good. After some fun interactions, they found one last hand still lingering, poking out of the bathroom mirror. Before they tackle that one, Cole glances at the photos and asks, "Hey, are those junior high uniforms?" Nene-chan replied, "Yeah, those are from last year." Then Cole mentioned how well taken the photos were. Nene-chan explained they had a boy from the photograph club snap the photos, and his name was on the last page. When Cole flipped to it, he got a surprise. Yeah, you know it. It was Mitsuba who had taken the pictures. While Cole was distracted, caught off guard by seeing Mitsuba's name, the last hand suddenly grabbed Nene-chan's arm. Out of nowhere, a creepy mouth popped up on the hand and said, "Come here." Okay, creepy. And yanked her into the mirror. Hanako rushed over, desperate to grab Nene-chan's hand, but it was too late. Nene-chan found herself on the other side of the mirror, in a shadowy space filled with hands and water on the ground. She was on another boundary. Staring into the mirror, she saw someone approaching her. It was Mitsuba. Nene-chan was lost in her own thoughts as this guy suddenly got super close to her. She couldn't help but admire his silky, smoothie hair and those long, fluttery lashes. He's handsome, like a prince, she thought, her eyes sparkling with excitement. Then Mitsuba said, "Hey, you..." and her heart raced. Yes, she replied, practically buzzing with anticipation. But then he took a deep breath and said, Aren't your ankles kind of fat? What are you, a daikon? Man, what kind of fertilizer does it take to grow those? Totally let down. I thought I finally met someone cool, but it's just a daikon. Poor Nana-chan, she just cannot catch a break. Feeling crushed, she cried out, What's wrong with you? First you drag me here, then hit me with that out of the blue. Where even are we? Who are you? He just shrugged and led her to a door, explaining they were in a school wonders boundary called the Hell of Mirrors, though he didn't know much about it. Then he introduced himself as Mitsuba, and Ani-chan, curious, asked if they had met before, but he genuinely didn't know. He mentioned she was getting worried about being stuck in there, so he had asked for help, and somehow she showed up. With those big puppy eyes, he asked, Will you help me? Despite everything he just said, Nene-chan couldn't resist his charm and replied, I can't be sure, but I might be able to help a little. Mitsuba smiled at her, saying, Thank you, senpai! And just like that, Nana-chan's heart melted. He seemed so cocky at first, but maybe he's just scared. She thought, He's actually really nice. But then whenever she turned her back, he would sneak in some teasing, only to whip out those puppy eyes again when she glanced over. Nana-chan couldn't help but want to get to know him better, especially since he was handsome. She started explaining all about boundaries since Mitsuba had never experienced one before. She hoped that impressing him with her knowledge would lead him to confess his feelings for her. Classic Delulu thinking, right? Then Mitsuba suddenly said, You know way too much for a living person. That's kind of creepy. Nana-chan was totally taken aback and accidentally bashed her head against the mirror in front of Ben. When she recovered, she was surprised to see Aoi-chan on the other side, looking at her like she was trapped. Aoi-chan quickly reassured her. I'm not trapped, but I do have to tell you something. I've kept quiet about it, but your legs are super ugly. Nobody says anything, but trust me, everyone thinks so. Suddenly, more mirrors appear, showing reflection of Hanako, Teru-senpai, Ko, and others, all without their faces. Aoi-chan continued. So, starting today, we are going to be honest and call you Ugly Daikon-chan. And just like that, Nana-chan's feelings took another hit.
Have you heard about the number 3 school wonder? It's a mysterious world on the other side of the mirrors. There's a mirror there that reflects the hearts of anyone who wanders in. People with beautiful hearts and brave people are fine. They can get back to their own world. But if there's even a little ugliness or fear in your heart, the mirror will reflect it. Then the world will suddenly turn to hell and attack you.
Now, back in the girls' bathroom, Hanako and Ko are desperate trying to figure out how to get into that mirror. They are practically pleading with it to let them in, and at one point, Ko almost breaks the thing. Hanako is trying to keep his cool, explaining, I'd like to go rescue Nene-chan right away, but to put it simply, number 3 attacks people in its boundary by reflecting what they fear or don't want to see. So its strength changes depending on who's in it. If I rush in blindly, I could end up making it stronger. Seriously, can you feel the tension? It leaves you wondering, what's up with Hanako? Meanwhile, in the terrifying realm of number 3's mirror, Nana-chan is stuck dealing with the bullies that are popping out of the mirrors, including Mitsuba, who's teasing her by calling her Daikon. Aoi-chan says the mirror can see everything you're afraid of. Then, Nana-chan turns the table and shows Mitsuba to the mirror, so he can feel the heat as well. But then, in a twist, Aoi-chan's reflection catches sight of Mitsuba and she vanishes, leaving him all alone. Mitsuba weirdly realized that nothing reflects back at him since he got there. And he starts questioning if it's because he's a ghost or if it's because he doesn't remember anything at all. Like, no memories from life, no idea how he died. As they are piecing it together, they realize that Yorishiro is stuck up on the roof of the boundary. Out of nowhere, Aoi-chan transforms into this creepy birdie-like apparition, declaring that he will take Nene-chan's place because her life is worthless. And just like that, a bunch of dolls start appearing through the mirrors. Turns out number 3 has this sinister plan to swap places with the living, and they quickly figure out Mitsuba's just a spirit, so Nana-chan becomes their target. Suddenly, a massive arm reaches out from the floor, grabbing Nana-chan. The doll scrambles up to get to her, and one even tries to bite her. In the heat of the moment, Mitsuba throws a mirror to distract the doll. But then the dolls turn on him, grabbing him and pushing him down while giving him a punch right in the face. He starts bawling for help, and just as things are looking bad, someone swoops in and breaks all those creepy dolls apart. It's Tsukasa. He yanks number 3 right out of the mirror and starts smashing his head against the ground like there's no tomorrow. Nana-chan and Mitsuba can only watch in shock and horror. Once Tsukasa finally takes care of number 3, he walks over to Nana-chan and asks, "You alive?" Nana-chan, shaken, replies with a timid, "Yes." And we respond cheerfully, "You are? Great!" Then he turns to Mitsuba and says, "Still, Mitsuba, you really are hopeless. You can't do anything on your own." That's when Mitsuba loses it and starts crying. Nana-chan was still spinning from the shock. She remembered Hanako mentioning how the 7 wonders were supposed to be unbeatable within their own boundaries. Yet, here was Tsukasa, making it all look like a walk in the park, as she stared at number 3's lifeless body. Then Tsukasa looked over and said, "You know, I did tell you, you're so weak you can't stay in the living world, Mitsuba. So, unless you want to disappear, you have to work hard and get stronger." With that, he stepped toward number 3's body, reaching and pulled out his heart. Holding it up like some trophy, he added, "I told you, if you want to get stronger, you've got to take down a strong apparition and eat it." And he made it sound so casual it was downright creepy. Meanwhile, Hanako and Ko decided to pay a visit to Tsuchigamori-sensei for some backup. When they arrived, Tsuchigamori-sensei explained, "Each of the 7 wonders boundaries has its own unique purpose. For instance, my library contains all the school records. Number 2 represents space, meaning you can access at most anywhere in the school." He continued to clarify that even though number 2 no longer had control over her boundary after breaking her Yorishiro, the boundary itself was still out there, although crumbled without anyone to keep it in check. After a few threats from Hanako to get her point across, Yako reluctantly agreed to help them navigate to number 3's boundary. As they reached the stairs, they did exactly what they did the first time to get to the boundary. Stepping onto the 4th stair, they were pulled into the boundary again. But this time, it was a completely different scene. The sky was bright blue, flowers blew all around, and in front of them towered a gigantic staircase. They started to follow Yako up the stairs, and Ko couldn't help but ask her how she felt when someone twisted her rumor and made her lose control, and attacked them back then. Yako, clearly offended and angry by the question, Hanako jumped in, saying, "You see, the boy cannot get over his ghost friend who disappeared after someone changed his rumor. A little bit like you, huh?" Yako took a moment and replied, "I see. It wasn't a nice feeling looking back on it now, but that was definitely me. I was out of control, but I didn't turn into something else. It was just that a side of me I normally conceal was forced to the surface. So if you said anything to your friend, maybe reach him even if he didn't understand. After all, no matter how twisted he was or what shape he shifted into, your friend was still himself. As they continued, they came across a swirling purple mirror that led to number 3's boundary. Ko and Hanako stepped through, and suddenly they were transported to number 3's boundary. Meanwhile, at that boundary, Tsukasa was forcing Mitsuba to eat number 3's heart, forcing his mouth open with no mercy. Just then, Nene-chan rushed in, grabbing Tsukasa's arm and insisting that Mitsuba didn't want to do it. Tsukasa turned to Nene-chan, grabbing her head and pushing her down as if he meant to smash her the same way he had with number 3. But just before her head hit the floor, he stopped, smirking a little. "I'm supposed to be gentle with girls. Sorry about that." He then started patting her head, saying, "Just be a good girl and stay quiet." With that, he lightly touched her forehead with 2 fingers, and she instantly dropped into unconsciousness. When Ko and Hanako arrived at number 3's boundary, they were shocked to find Nene-chan slumped against the wall, unconscious. They rushed to her side, and Hanako leaned close, checking her breathing. "Looks like she's just sleeping," he said, relief washing over him as he wrapped her in a hug, resting his face against hers. Oh, so cute. They turned to the side and spotted Mitsuba. Ko couldn't believe his eyes. He dashed over to check on him. As he got closer, he noticed one of Mitsuba's hands looked like something straight off a fairy tale. That's when Hanako's gaze landed on a body laying next to Mitsuba, and he exclaimed, "Don't tell me. That's number 3? Boy, get back!" Before they knew it, Ko was suddenly attacked by something. He looked down to see what appeared to be hands emerging from Mitsuba. Hanako jumped in front of Ko to protect him, just as Tsukasa popped up out of nowhere, cheerfully calling out, "Mitsuba, are you done eating?" Hanako, caught off guard, shot back, "What are you doing here, Tsukasa?" Without missing a beat, Tsukasa rushed over to Hanako and wrapped him in a big hug, looking all excited to see him. But just as he was wrapped around Hanako, those hands from Mitsuba struck again, sending Tsukasa against the wall. Tsukasa grabbed Mitsuba's hands, who looked confused and scared, trying to soothe him. "Mitsuba, it's okay. They're here to protect you. Just calm down and learn to control them, alright?" Ko, frustrated and angry, confronted Tsukasa. "What have you done to Mitsuba this time? Tell me." Tsukasa casually replied, "I made Mitsuba's wish come true. The price was his reason, a piece of his soul. Back then, I took out a piece of Mitsuba's soul, his reason, and held onto it. After that, the rest was easy. I just made a body by scraping together last year's spirits that were about to vanish and stuck Mitsuba's soul into it. See? Instant Mitsuba! But he's a totally different person. I guess he has to be. The Sosuke Mitsuba who lived and died as human no longer exists in this world." Ko couldn't hide his anger. "Why would you do that? It's your fault Mitsuba's gone." Tsukasa shrugged nonchalantly. "I always wanted to try creating an artificial human. I mean, since he's a ghost now, I suppose that makes him an artificial ghost. I wasn't expecting him to end up so weak he couldn't exist in the living world. But hey, isn't he kind of cool? Honestly, it's wild just how messed up this little guy can be. Jesus." Now, Tsukasa turns to Mitsuba and asks him what he's planning to do now that he's got the number 3 powers. He gives Mitsuba a choice. Will he let these new powers slip away and fade into nothing? Or will he grab the chance to join the 7 wonders and take control of this boundary? Mitsuba doesn't hesitate. He wants to stick around, so he agrees to do anything it takes. And Tsukasa smirks, saying, "I see. If that's what you want, I'll make it happen. From this moment on, You're wonder number 3. Tsukasa tells Mitsuba he can become any kind of apparition he wants, but Mitsuba surprises him by saying he just wants to be a regular human. That's when Hanako jumps in saying, apparitions born in the land of the dead are forbidden from living as humans in the land of the living. I will need you to give back number 3's position. Tsukasa can't help but tease Hanako, pointing out how strong Mitsuba is now and reminding him that they are in Mitsuba's territory, making him practically unbeatable. But just a moment later, we see Mitsuba trying to sneak away, clearly terrified of Hanako's knife. Tsukasa, however, pushes him into a confrontation, and Mitsuba fires back with a cheek jab, calling them crazy knife and lame ass trap-shaped earring. He actually called Ko the same thing during their first meeting. Then, declaring the place his, Mitsuba tells them to get lost. Suddenly, Ko steps closer, grabbing Mitsuba's arm and asking, "Don't you remember me?" Mitsuba, totally confused, just replies, "Who the hell are you?" Ko then hands in the gardening club activity log notebook, trying to jog his memory. Things start to heat up when Tsukasa shoves Mitsuba towards Hanako. The moment Mitsuba sees the knife again, panic kicks in, and he starts swinging wildly. Hanako quickly gets behind him, his knife at Mitsuba's throat, and says, "You're not even a dead person who once lived. You're just a pure apparition, the least human you could be. So, face it, you can never become human. Just give up." That pushes Mitsuba over the edge, and he starts lashing out in frustration. Suddenly, chunks of the floor above Nane-chan start to crumble down towards her. Realizing this, Mitsuba springs into action, protecting her with his own body, just as she wakes up confused. He tells her, "Daikon-senpai, I got stronger. Now, I'm one of those wonders and the boss of this place. So, if you just try this boundary, it would be a problem for me. So, go home for today." Right after he says that, a bunch of hands appear from the mirrors and start pulling all 3 of them in. They are dragged back in the girls' bathroom. And later, Natsuhiko, who managed to find his way through the maze of doors, ends up in front of the broadcast room. Expecting a warm welcome from Sakura, he's shocked to find Tsukasa telling everyone about what went down at the boundary, with Mitsuba right there by his side. 3 days had gone by since that crazy incident in the Hell of Mirrors, and Nana-chan was in her bedroom, deep in thought. She couldn't shake off the things that had happened and was especially worried about Ko. Her mind drifted back to when they returned from that strange boundary. That's when Ko filled in on what had gone down with Mitsuba on the day he vanished. Until then, only Hanako had known the full story since he was there that day. Ko was trying to explain everything, but it wasn't easy for him. Just as he was about to step out of the bathroom, Nana-chan rushed after him. With a hopeful smile, Ko reassured her, "I'll figure something out, so I'll be fine." As they chatted in the hallway, there was something behind her. And it was a fish emerging from the floor. It looked right at her and proclaimed, "I have found you, our princess." It was just another day in the classroom, and Nana-chan was sitting there, sighing and looking pretty worried. Suddenly, out of nowhere, a head popped up right in front of her, upside down. It was Hanako, and he was standing on her desk with his legs spread apart, all casual. "What's wrong?" he asked. Nana-chan was totally taken aback and shot back with, "What are you doing here?" With a playful grin, Hanako joked that he just had this sudden urge to see her. She eyed him skeptically and told him to keep it down since they were in class. But before she knew it, he was playing with her hair and nudging her to spill what was on her mind. As the teacher droned on, she started writing down her feelings in her notebook. Her thoughts were all about Ko. She worried he might be feeling down because he was friends with Mitsuba, and it seemed like he has forgotten, which must have been lonely for him. Desperate for some ideas to cheer him up, she asked Hanako for suggestions. He smirked and said, "You're only worried about the boy, huh? Then, out of the blue, he hugged her from behind and added, I was lonely when you got sucked into that mirror, you know? Weren't you lonely, Yashiro? Nene-chan turned big red and pushing away, embarrassed. But Hanako wasn't done yet. He started gently caressing her hand and said, and here I was, worried about you. Do you need any more confession? But just when he was being so cute, he began styling her hair. When he finished, he showed her in the mirror. Her hair looked like a Christmas tree with a seaweed. He cracked up, saying it was the miracle, the ascension of Daikon. Nana-chan couldn't help herself and yelled in class, drawing stares and even some phone cameras from her classmates. The teacher came, telling her to save the makeover for after class. Poor Nana-chan, just when I thought Hanako was being cute, he goes and trolls her. When break time rolled around, Nana-chan was having lunch with Aoi-chan, and she mused, maybe different species just can't understand each other after all. Her mind wandered back to Hanako. He loved to tease and always stuck his nose in her business. Yet, he kept his own secrets close. But there were moments when he looked so vulnerable that she couldn't just abandon him. Feeling flustered, she thought it might be easier if she were an apparition too. Right then, something caught her attention. Well now, you wish to become an apparition? What a delightful coincidence. We shall grant your wish. Look down here. Nana-chan looked at her desk, and to her surprise, there were 2 talking fish. She gasped and shouted, Fish! But no one else could see them, and her classmates were startled. Aoi-chan freaked out as if Nana-chan was okay. Feeling a rush of panic, Nana-chan bolted out of the classroom. Outside, she declared loudly, Just so you know, I'm the 7 Wonders boss's assistant. Plus, I'm friends with a super strong exorcist. I don't know who you are, but if you touch me, you will get worse than just burned. She was hanging from a tree while the 2 fish below didn't seem fazed at all. One of the fish said she wasn't convincing at all and explained that they had come to free her from Hanako. They revealed their law. Whoever consumes the flesh and blood of their mistress, the mermaid, would become their next ruler, meaning Nana-chan was their princess. The fish went on and on about how amazing she was and that if she joined them, she could have any man she wanted as a princess. They even claimed they'd been spying on her, saying Hanako had treated her poorly. He didn't accept the donuts she gave him and never shared anything about himself. They filled her head with doubts and negativity. Then, one of them handed her a vial of the mermaid's blood, insisting that drinking it would break her bond with Hanako and tie her to the mermaid instead. Oh, and her body wouldn't be affected by water anymore. After laying it all out, they gave her some time to think and promised to return the next day. As they swam away, we caught a glimpse of Hakujo-dai sneaking up behind Nene-chan, ready to tell Hanako what had just gone down. So, Nene-chan decided to get some opinions about the mermaid's offer she had heard about. First, she talked to Yako, who straight up said, You might as well go for it. We're dealing with number 7 here. He's just an inconsiderate brat. Honestly, humans and apparitions shouldn't mix. You must realize that on some level. Next, she approached Tsuchigamori-sensei. When she brought up the offer, he answered, Why not? Nene-chan couldn't help but reply, I came to get you to stop me. He shrugged and said, Princess wanted, no experience necessary, no academic requirements. Sounds like a good deal. By the way he said it, it actually made it sound tempting, but it also made me feel a bit sad because I really get that as you grew up. Then Tsuchigamori-sensei asked if she had talked to Ko or Hanako about it. Nana-chan signed and mentioned that she didn't want to bother Ko right now. And as for Hanako, well, he's just so unpredictable. She pressed on. Sensei, you've known Hanako for ages, right? What happened to Hanako in the past? And who's Tsukasa? Tsuchigamura-sensei replied. You have to ask him that. Number 7 isn't ready to share that with you. At least not yet. That's why he's keeping quiet. Nana-chan pondered for a moment and said, I wonder why he won't tell me. It feels like he doesn't trust me. Then Tsuchigamura-sensei starts laughing and said, It'd probably be inconvenient for him if you knew. You're soft on number 7 after all. I mean, done it. Once he regained his composure, he added, Or maybe he's just scared of what you might uncover. Either way, you need to make your own choice. Just be sure you won't regret it later. As Nana-chan left, it turned out that Hanako was hiding behind the curtains, having listened to their entire conversation. So, after class, a bunch of fish swam back, and there was even a turtle sporting a little fancy chair on its shell. It was pretty wild. At first, Nana-chan was like, no way, I can't just ditch Hanako. But then, the fish got a little desperate. They urged her to reconsider, showing her pictures of all these fish that might be interesting her. And guess what? They were all just different kinds of fish. One fish told her that for someone as beautiful as her, any fish would be lucky to have her. Just when Nana-chan was feeling confused about what all that meant, suddenly a huge fish grabbed her from the behind and pulled her into this water that was on the floor, and she turned into a fish. The fish around her started praising her, saying how gorgeous she looked as a fish, and Nana-chan was like, wait a minute, when you called me beautiful, you meant as a fish? Then all the fish collectively said, forget those ugly legs and come with us. Join the world of fish. One fish added, Your Highness, you got terrible tasting eyes, thick-legged, and you're just not great at love. The way things are now, you'll never have a boyfriend. But don't stress. You just belong in a different world. Cast aside your dry human life and those awful legs. If you join us, you'll be a queen. You'll be super popular. And that was all it took to convince Nana-chan. As she was about to drink this mermaid's blood, suddenly Hanako's voice cut through. Stop that. A fishing net swooped in and caught her, tossing her into the air. Just as she was about to fall, Hanako caught her in his arms and she transformed back to her human self. Holding Nana-chan close, he said, No matter how nice your world is, or how bad her life is now, it doesn't matter. Yashiro likes me. Then he warned the fish that he would turn them into sashimi if they didn't get lost, and they made a friend's escaped. Then Hanako looked at her and said, Honestly, you had a chance to stay human, and you went and tried to turn into apparition. To which Nana-chan replied, I'm sorry, I thought that if I were an apparition like you, I could get closer to you and maybe understand you better, Hanako. I know I probably don't mean much to you. Hanako gently caressed her face and said, You're so silly, Yashiro. Thank you. I wanted to tell you, but I never did. That was the first time a girl ever said she liked me, and it really made me happy. You know, I had a little brother. I killed him, though. Hey, Yashiro, do you really want to know about me? Yes, we want! Ah! Sorry, Hanako, continue. If you do, I'll tell you everything someday. Just promise to be my sister until then. And they sealed it with a pinky swear. In the broadcast room, we see Mitsuba asking if it's okay for him to hang around. Natsuko told him he had to make that choice for himself. Meanwhile, Tsukasa was back at it, drawing on the wall. Looked like he was smashing lesser spirits and turning them into ink. When Natsuko asked what he was up to, Tsukasa replied, Just thinking about how we should play next. Right, Amane? At school, Ko was feeling super down in the classroom, lost in thought about Mitsuba. He finally stood up and declared, Just you wait, Mitsuba. I'm going to get strong soon and then I'll take you back from him. Minamoto-senpai was secretly watching from behind the door, smiled and said, Good luck, Ko. Then we catch Nene-chan sneaking to the girls' bathroom, trying to summon Hanako again. She was musing to herself. I know some things about Hanako that you can't learn from rumors. How kind he is, how dangerous he can be. And just then, Hanako appeared behind her, touching her shoulder and said, "I'm here." She took his hands, grinning. "Caught you." Alright guys, we made it to the end of season 1. But hold your horses. Before you wrap things up, I've got a little extra scene to share from the manga. So, you remember those 2 fish? They totally went after Tsukasa. And remember when they said they saw Nene-chan giving Hanako those donuts? Which Hanako didn't accept? Yeah, they were spying on them. And get this, Tsukasa noticed those stinky fish too. After Tsukasa's first run-in with Hanako, he tells Sakura about what went down and brings up those fish. He tells her that he wonders what it's like on the inside of a talking fish. So, fast forward to their next encounter with those fish approaching Nene-chan and trying to convince her to join them. Right after Hanako fries them off, they decide to track down Tsukasa, who's hanging out in the broadcast room with Sakura and Natsuhiko. Now, the puff fish noticed that when Nene-chan gave Hanako the donuts, Hanako looked pretty worried and a bit scared of Tsukasa. He starts thinking like, hey, maybe I should win Tsukasa over so we can take down Hanako. But then he has this light bulb moment. Tsukasa has the same face as Hanako. He doesn't know they're twins yet, of course. Then he hears Tsukasa mention about spreading rumors and it clicks. He remembers the mermaid saying that the rumors about the nearshore supernaturals have been all over the place lately. So it dawns on him that those guys are the ones messing with the rumors. Just as he's piecing this all together, Natsuhiko spots him and grabs him by the tail. The pufffish starts freaking out, shouting, "Unhate me! I'm of the noble high water people!" That's when Tsukasa notices the commotion. Sakura tells Natsuhiko to let go, and as he's about to, Tsukasa snatches the fish up and starts teasing like, "Look, it's talking!" The pufffish is screaming and yelling, "Cease and desist! Don't treat me so violently!" Then Tsukasa turns to Sakura and Natsuhiko, asking, "What do you think it's like on the inside?" Sakura gives him a serious look and says, "Don't kill it." But Tsukasa, with those creepy eyes of his, holds the pufffish in one hand and a pen in the other, saying, "Oh, don't worry, I'm just gonna take a little peek." And with that, he lifts the pen and slash, the pufffish is gone. And that's it. We officially reached the end of Toilet-Bound Hanako-kun Season 1. What a ride, right? We had cute, mysterious moments and some downright chilling ones. Which scene from Season 1 was your favorite? Did you enjoy the sweet moments between Hanako and Nene-chan? Or are you more into Tsukasa's chaotic energy? And the big question, which anime would you like to see next? Thank you so much for watching and sticking with me through the whole season. See you in the next one. Bye bye.